on right now, and you can see that moisture flowing right out of the Gulf of Mexico. Plenty of cold air has been in place, and the result has been a lot of snowfall in some areas, some sleet and freezing rain, and Warren will check in on the severe weather tonight in Louisiana and Texas coming up in just a moment. First, though, let's concentrate on the wintry aspects of this system. There's the cold high, the old norther moving into the old great state of Texas, and the temperatures have really fallen. In Dallas, lunchtime around 70. By the time you went out the door to go home, it was in the 30s. Now it's down into the upper 20s in the Big D. There's the leading edge of the cold air. Now, as far as sleet and freezing rain, very little to talk about. Most of whatever is falling is either rain or snow. There's very little in between here. The snow's now tapering off in St. Louis. It's over with in Chicago. We'll be updating this map momentarily, but the snow has ended officially at Midway and O'Hare International Airport. Check in on the radar in a moment, but first, let's give you an idea of that plunge of cold air into Texas. Now, the jet stream this week is not oriented like it was in the past couple weeks. We're not going to see this cold air moving into the Gulf Coast and into Florida, where, if you remember, weekend before last, we had sub-freezing temperatures all the way down to the Florida Everglades. That's not the case. Most of this cold air will be moving off to the east. You can see what's going on. 28 now in Dallas. Last hour, we had 71 in San Antonio. It's quickly dropping 58 there. And look at the cold air in the Corn Belt and Midwestern Plains. 2 below in Des Moines, 4 below right now for those of you in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Notice, though, the temperatures on the East Coast. Very important. 40 in Washington, 34 in D.C., and 26 in Boston. So as you go up the coast, you will have a prolonged event of snowfall before it changes over to rain. Washington, forget it, all rain. Baltimore, you had a few flakes, a few sleet pellets. Now that has gone over to rainfall, and the same will go for New York City. Back in the Ohio Valley and Midwest, our rain snow line setting up in this situation, raining in Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, down through the mountains of West Virginia. This is all rain, some of this heavy at times, so watch out for some ponding on the highways and some areas where you may have some settling of the water and some localized flooding. We'll keep you updated if you're on cable with the watches and the warnings. The other story we want to talk about is the Northeast and the snow now advancing towards the New York City area and Boston. Let's go back to the radar we just saw briefly and update you on the situation. As you get out towards the Laurel Mountains out here where the cold air is, we're finding snowfall. And even in the northern suburbs of Philly right now, we've got snow. But at Philadelphia International, it's raining in 36 degrees. Snow at LaGuardia and at Newark at 34. But if you get up in White Plains, just north of town, it's 28 and snowing. So that's what we're talking about, a very sharp difference in whether you get a little bit of snow or you don't get any at all. New York City, we think you'll get some snowfall, then it will quickly change over to rain. By rush hour, wet roadways, but not icy roadways. Here comes the snow in towards Boston, just snowing, started to snow the past hour in Worcester. It's snowing in Albany. So if you're traveling up the New York Thruway from New York City tomorrow morning.
That's fairly high up there, and that moisture level feeds your thunderstorms, especially when you have that cold front flowing in to the area around Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. But notice that nothing falling right now in Central California southward. That is good news, and one of the reasons why, well, we look at our video now, and we see from Yuba County, California, that there is the current map, as we see high pressure planted over the center of the country, with the big storm wrapped up here in the east, very curvy front there, and then another storm coming here into the west. Let's take a look at what the forecast is. We've got rain. To the north of the front, we have snow, and to the north and west of the front here, we have still a little bit of freezing rain and sleet in southeastern portions of Missouri and over into southern Illinois. Ahead of the front also, we have severe weather. We have several severe thunderstorm watch boxes out and several severe thunderstorm warnings out. Here's the cold air. On the other side, we've got milder Pacific air and rain in on the Pacific Northwest. Okay, that's your brief summary on what's going on around the country. Now let's look at some